Hello guys and welcome to Odds on La Liga. Barcelona is getting closer to the top of the table, so let's analyze all 10 games of the 27th match day, always with Álvaro Romeo, but I also want to know your opinion, so let me know what you think in the comment section and you will have the chance to win a £10 free bet with Novibet. And do not forget to click on the like button if you enjoyed the video, subscribe to our channel and click on the bell to get all the notifications. And now let's go on with the show. New match day in La Liga and the title race is as exciting as has not ever been in this season. Let's analyze all 10 games with Álvaro. Hi Álvaro, how are you?
Hello Edu, how are you? Good to see you.
Good to see you again. The draw in the derby put Barcelona really close to the top of the table. Depend on the game that we have on Wednesday evening, actually, against Atletico Madrid and Athletic Bilbao. But let's start with the games on Friday. We are going to analyze the 27th match day, and we have a derby of Valencia, Levante, Valencia. At least Valencia now, I think they can breathe after the victory against Villarreal, coming back with a great goal scored by Gonzalo Guedes, something that we haven't seen from the Portuguese all this season. And Levante probably paying the effort of the Copa del Rey. They lost against Real Sociedad. They could have been thrashed. So here the odds show us, Álvaro, that Levante is favorite, but I kind of like the odds for Valencia just because of that, no? Because I think they can now play calmly and they can get a result here at the Ciudad de Valencia.
Yes, I know, but Edu, in my case, I learned my lesson with Valencia too. I backed them so many times this season, especially from October until December, and they let me down so many times that I really don't know if it's worth backing them, really. But it's true, you're right, Valencia now, they've got 30 points. They are, how many? 8 points off the relegation, which is obviously a lot of breathing space for them. And against Villarreal, they were competitive. We have to remember that one of the goals that Villarreal scored, that penalty of Gaya, was ridiculous. I mean, in pre-VAR football, the referee would have never called a penalty like that against Valencia. I think that Valencia are getting better, that's for sure. But Levante, this season they have been really attractive to watch. I think that the tiredness is catching up with them. Definitely they are fatigued because they reached the Cup semi-finals, and that is much more than they expected. Look, there are few incentives for Levante in this game. For example, in 14 seasons in the top flight, Levante has never ended the season ahead of Valencia, higher than Valencia on the table. So this is something that probably is a motivation for Levante, because this is like a local derby. It's a city derby between Valencia and Levante. Levante got an important victory last weekend. They are 10 points away from the relegation. All the wins they got this season, they got them at home, which is something that you should take into account. And Valencia, well, there are a few good news about them. Gonzalo Guedes scored the goal. The way he celebrated the other day tells you that he has been frustrated for a long time. And there is some sort of new team news or club news. I wouldn't say hope, but the Prince of Johor in Malaysia, maybe very soon the sporting director of Valencia. Whether this is good news or not, time will tell, okay? So for this game, I'm going only for one market. I think that this is pretty even, but I like the over 3 goals market. That pays 288, and let's don't forget that Levante has 2 players already in double figures in La Liga, so that's why I'm backing like a high scoring game.
All right, I'm not saying that I would back Valencia. I'm saying that the odds are appealing. For instance, Asian Handicap 0 for Valencia is 2.59. I would never actually back Valencia. I would back the draw or the Asian Handicap 0 for Valencia. Only saying that. We will find, I think, in this match day a lot of good odds for the underdogs, like in the next game, Alaves, Cadiz. Why? Alaves 2.20, Cadiz 4.06, and we haven't I don't think Cadiz is a worse team than Alaves, especially playing away from home. Cadiz had gotten really good results this season, and they are in a decent run. They beat Eibar. That was a massive victory in the weekend. Before they lost only 0-1 with Betis, they were able to draw against Barcelona, so they are showing some consistency. But Alaves is the opposite. Álvaro, they lost against Betis. Even if they took the lead 0-2, they were leading after only 25 minutes in the games. And the thing is that the things are not working with Abelardo. Only 2 points away from relegation. 1 victory for him as a manager, 4 straight defeats. For sure, this is a very important game, but all the things said, Alaves is not good.
Yeah, that's true, and that's why I agree with you that some of the odds for Cadiz, they are kind of appealing. For example, the double chance itself. For Cadiz, it's okay, 177. Why not? Especially if you put more than €1 to it. Obviously, you can get a good value for that. I think at Alaves, as you said, they are not in a good moment. The rebirth that Abelardo was expected to bring to the club hasn't crystallized yet. I believe that they are a team with many doubts at the minute, even. At the Villamarín last Monday against Betis, they got a 2-0 lead, and that was really impressive. And then they wasted it, and Betis ended up winning that game 3-2. So that was so disappointing for them. I think that this is a very bad time for Alaves. They've been a few years in the top flight, maybe more than I would have expected according to the budget they have had. Let's don't forget that this is a team that at the beginning of their new stint in the top flight, they relied on Loanís from Real Madrid and many other teams. So I think that Alaves has been good overall in this period, but this season they are not good. Cadiz, however, this is the first season in the top flight after they got promoted. I think that the signing of Sobrino in the winter transfer market has been really good for them, because he is putting a lot of energy on the pitch, and his energy is a great addenda to Álvaro Negredo's, for example, scoring abilities. Negredo doesn't have so much energy, Sobrino is providing that. The only problem with Alaves for Cadiz in this game is that the Choco Lozano has an injury. He will miss the game. He's a very important player for the club. So in here, I'm going to go for the yellow cards market. I think that I fancy that one. Alaves averages around 3 yellow cards per game, just so you know, and I think that in this game they are going to get rough if needed. Over 5.5 cards, that pays 220, and I'm going to back a win for Alaves as well. I'm going to, after all the things that I said about them, I think that this is their last chance maybe to face the remainder of the season with a positive attitude. So I'm going to back a home win for them that pays 215.
Next game, we go to Valdebebas, Real Madrid Elche. We should expect Real Madrid to win here before facing Atalanta in a really, of course, important game, because it's the competition that they are more alive after the draw in the derby. They are 5 points away from Atletico Madrid, who are playing on Wednesday evening against Athletic, so it could be more. The good news for Zidane is that he's recovering some key players. Sergio Ramos, Benzema, we saw him back in the derby, maybe Hazard, Rodrigo, so all the injuries are going back, and they should beat Álvaro. Elche, they are better now, they are out of the relegation zone. They beat Sevilla, but away they always struggle, and we know how, poor technically this Elche is.
Yes, they've got their problems. I think that they are lacking quality in every line. I was a little bit surprised to remember, because I had forgotten that Elche and Real Madrid drew back in December 1-1. Fidel. Yeah, you remember that, Edu. I remember that Elche scored the penalty, and well, that was a bad result for Real Madrid. Look, Elche beat Sevilla in the last game. That was fantastic for them. They are 2 points off the relegation. And Real Madrid got 2 draws in the last 2 games, but the quality of the opponents was high. They drew against Real Sociedad, they drew against Atletico, which I consider a very decent result. And you said before that Ramos at least is back on training, or he seems to be almost ready. I think that as soon as Sergio Ramos gets the competitive permission to play, he's going to be totally fit. I doubt that about Eden Hazard. I think that the Belgian, even if he is not injured anymore, he will find it a little bit more difficult to find his form again. Look, according to the odds, the trust on Real Madrid is immense, is massive. So that's why I have to find the strange markets here. Like, for example, an Asian handicap of +2 for Elche, that pays 181. Why not? Real Madrid normally doesn't destroy their opponents the way they used to. And then there is a crazy one here that I'm just going to mention and underline it, but I don't personally back it. But anyway, listen to it. A double chance for Elche pays 490, considering that in the reverse fixture, Elche got a draw. Maybe that is something that you can think of.
I will write down Elche Asian handicap +2, taking in consideration that, as you said, Real Madrid is not thrashing any team in La Liga this season. Another option, for instance, win 2-0 for Real Madrid, 1.87, considering that, Elche is not scoring many goals. Real Madrid is not conceding many. Then, Pamplona, relegation battle, Osasuna, Valladolid, Osasuna. I think they are really competitive in this stage of the season. They lost against Barcelona and Sevilla in their last 2 home games, but this is normal. They won 3 out of the last 5. This is why they are 13th right now, and they have 3 points more than Valladolid, who got a massive victory against Getafe in their last game. Actually, they are not that bad as well. In their last 4 games, only 1 defeat, and was against Real Madrid. Here, Álvaro, you go for Osasuna, Valladolid. Probably the draw also is a good option.
Yes, it is a good option. I think that these teams, they are going up gradually. I think that Osasuna a bit faster than Valladolid. Against Barcelona, they lost, yes, but at the same time, they put a fight there, and it was impressive to see Yagoba Arrasate's men just being so competitive. I didn't expect that from them back in November, especially with the injuries. Let's don't forget that they have relied a lot on the goals that Roberto Torres or Budimir could score, and one of them is a midfielder, the other one is not a very recognizable striker, or at least he doesn't have a great pedigree in La Liga. So yeah, I think that I like Osasuna. Valladolid is improved as well. They beat Getafe 2-1 in the last game with goals from Oscar Plano and Weissman. But these scorers, Oscar Plano and Weissman, they have to score more. I mean, they haven't even scored 5 this season, each of them. So if Valladolid wants to avoid relegation, we need something better from the strikers. Look, I'm going to back the under 2 goals market, which duplicates your bet. Why do I do that? There are 6 teams in La Liga that they still haven't scored 25 goals. And let's don't forget that this is the Matchday 27, right? So, yeah, Osasuna and Valladolid, they haven't even scored 1 goal per game. It's a very low average. So I'm going for this. The under 2 goals market is my favorite, 198.
Okay, if there are 2 goals, you get your money back. Then we go to El Coliseum, Alfonso Pérez, Getafe, Atletico de Madrid. So surprised to see the odds for Atletico 2.12. Our audience need to know that in their last 13 La Liga games, Atletico won all of them against Getafe, and they kept all clean sheets. It's crazy, the head-to-head stats between these 2 teams of Madrid. I think there is nothing else to add apart from that. Getafe, of course, they are still struggling, while Atletico, they are not in the best moment of the season. They have to travel to London, or well, they have to play in the Champions League against Chelsea. This could be a handicap for them also, because they are playing against Athletic in the midweek tonight. But Álvaro, seeing these stats, I will go immediately for Atletico to win at least.
Yeah, Atletico to win away is my favorite here. 205. I fully agree with you. I totally agree with you. Look, the head-to-head between Getafe and Atletico de Madrid is so strange that I actually would like to know if this is precedented or not, if it ever happened. Look, Getafe, I believe that they got like a 33-0 deficit against Atletico de Madrid in the last decade. They haven't scored a single goal against them. They haven't scored a goal against Atletico de Madrid, Getafe, since the 6th of November 2011. Do you know what happened in December 2011? Simeone arrived at Atletico de Madrid. So Getafe has never scored a league goal against Diego Pablo Simeone's Atletico de Madrid. That's mental. It's almost a decade. So yeah, it's impossible not to back Atletico. Sorry?
And Getafe is a good team. It's a very decent team in La Liga.
Yeah, they are, and they come on. Last season, for example, they managed to beat Ajax in the Europa League. We know what they have been capable of in the past, but you know the odds are favorable to Atletico de Madrid, at least a little bit, and I'm going to grab them, definitely. For example, I like the yellow cards market as well here, because I know that Getafe, they are really rough when it comes to yellow cards. They top the ranking of yellow cards in La Liga, so the over 5.5 yellow cards market pays 190. But I also like this one, and this is the most speculative I have found so far in this show. Atletico to score in both halves is something I like as well, 433. But if you want to go for the conservative one, Atletico to win away duplicates your money.
Yeah, that's good enough. I think it's much more difficult to predict the next one, Celta Athletic, because these two teams, they are in the middle of the table. Basically, they have nothing to play for until the end of the season in La Liga. Of course, Celta at the beginning of the season, they were struggling. But with the new coach, they are cruising. They beat Huesca in a great game, 3-4 with that winner scored by Fran Beltran. Only one defeat in the last 7 games. And Athletic, Alvaro, they have to keep all the strength to the cup finals they have in April. 2 of them, remember, against Real Sociedad from last season. And this year they have to face Barcelona, but they are still winning. They beat Granada. Let's see what they do tonight at Wanda Metropolitano. But again, I think this is very difficult to predict, at least the outright market.
It is. Look, however, there is a better trajectory at Athletic Bilbao than at Celta. We can agree on that. I mean, in 2021, Celta has lost 4 games in the league, and Athletic Club Bilbao has lost only 2 games. So that tells you that with the arrival of the new manager, Marcelino, things have gotten better for Athletic Club Bilbao, who are going to have 2 cup finals in April, which is something unprecedented. Let's not forget that they are going to play against Real Sociedad, the cup final of 2020, and they are going to play against Barcelona, this year's cup final, on the 17th of April. I think that Athletic Club Bilbao, they are going to be massively favored and helped by one thing. Probably very few of their players, they are going to travel with the Spanish national team to play international games. Unai Simon will be one of them, the goalkeeper, but I struggle to think if anybody else will actually go with Spain, which means that they will have time to prepare the cups, they will have time to prepare the finals. So probably this game against Celta, they are going to take it very seriously, because they know that in the international break, they will have time to relax, to rest, and to work tactically. So I think that I'm going in this case for both teams to score. That pays 195. I find it a very sensible bet. And an Asian handicap of 0 for Athletic Club Bilbao is slightly better, 209. Those will be my 2 picks.
I like the Asian handicap 0 for both teams. You say that Athletic are better in your opinion, so for Athletic is a good idea. Here the odds for Celta and Athletic both are quite high. In the next one, not surprised, we have Granada, Real Sociedad, but the odds for Real Sociedad are very low, very low, 1.73. This is because Granada, they are playing the Europa League, they have to face Molde, and we are completely sure that all their strength and their mind and everything will be focused in Europe, because they are really far away from relegation, 11 points, and they have an amazing chance to get into the quarterfinals of the Europa League. And Real Sociedad, they are in a good run right now, only 3 points away from Champions League position, so they can catch Sevilla even in this match day. Alvaro, everything that I said, this is why the odds are very low for Real Sociedad.
Yes, I think so. Real Sociedad, they are favorites coming into this game. I mean, that's unquestionable for me and probably for you too. But at the same time, I wouldn't be that generous with the odds for them. At the end of the day, this is Real Sociedad playing against Granada, and Granada, all things considered, they are still a dangerous team in Primera División. So I like, for example, the both teams to score market, 2.0. That's a very interesting one. A more speculative one, but I do believe that this is still possible, Real Sociedad scoring in both halves, that pays 275. Let's don't forget that Granada this season, they have conceded already 44 goals. I mean, they are the worst defense in the league. So why not believe that? Real Sociedad is good scoring and Granada is very poor defending. And the Asian handicap +1 for Granada, that could be interesting as well. That pays 175. And if you, for example, are ready to do an ACCA, you could keep that one because that is pretty much certain value for you.
There is no value for sure on backing Real Sociedad with these low odds. Then we have Eibar, Villarreal. Here there is value if we want to back Eibar with odds around 3.2 because Villarreal, they have a long trip to Kiev in the Europa League on Thursday. Villarreal are struggling. In La Liga, they lost the European positions. And Eibar, they need to win this after their defeat against Cadiz. In the last 2 home games, they were able to draw. So maybe going here for Eibar Asian Handicap 0 could be an option.
Yes, it is an option, definitely. The Eibar Asian Handicap 0 is something that sounds sensible, considering that Villarreal, they are in a very bad moment at the minute. Of course, they are through in Europe, but in La Liga, they are struggling. I think that few things have caught up with them. The fact that Gerard Moreno seems to be the only reliable scoring source. The fact that they lost Iborra in December for the remainder of the season, and that killed pretty much their holding abilities in the midfield. I think that we have to expect more from players like Alcácer, Chukwueze especially, and those are on paper the differential players for Villarreal, and they are not making such a difference. Even Dani Parejo, you could have expected a better season from him. I think that the game is going to be tight, this one. I believe that Eibar is going to eye this game as one of the key ones for the salvation to stay in La Liga. And I am going to back here the under 2 goals market. I like this one because I think that this game is going to be quite tight, and that pays 238. I believe that this is the best value you can get for your money in this game.
The one I mentioned, Eibar is a handicap 0, is 2.2. In case someone also fancy that. Then the last game on Sunday is the Sevilla derby, Sevilla Betis, with Betis arriving better than ever to the derby. Another victory, we mentioned it, against Alaves, coming back. Last 10 games, 7 victories, 2 draws, 1 defeat. That's why they are in European positions, whereas the neighbors are struggling in La Liga and in all competitions. Actually, last 4 games, 1 draw, 3 defeats. They drew against Dortmund, so they are out of Europe. They lost also the Cup semi-final, so they are depressed, that's for sure. Álvaro, this is a derby. No one knows what is going to happen, especially in the Sevilla derby, a very hot one when there are supporters. But if we check the reverse fixture, actually, Betis was already way better.
I think that that reverse fixture was the key point for Betis to improve this season. They were as good as Sevilla were, and Sevilla at that time, they were peaking at that time of the season, back in December. And Betis put such a good fight, they deserved more. Lainez was excellent that day. And that was I would say that the key point and the turning point for Betis season, the game against Sevilla back in December, if I am not wrong here. I believe that Betis is in a very good run. This is a team that doesn't necessarily do many things well, but they are daring, they are adventurous, and when they go forward, they have many players who can score, and one of those players who couldn't score before, Borja Iglesias, is back on time to help Betis to qualify for European football next season. Look, I think that Sevilla played probably the best half of the season in the first half at Dortmund at Signal Iduna Park the other day, and still they couldn't beat Borussia. In the first half, Haaland just scored the goal, proving that in football you can have tactically a great structure, but if the opponent has a player like Haaland, you are doomed. And as soon as a player like Haaland has a chance, you are pretty much done. I don't think Betis can offer any threat that Haaland, but still they will attack a lot. So I expect goals in this game. I think that both teams to score is one of my favorite ones. That pays 190. If you do an ACCA, you can keep that one for a good accumulator. The Asian handicap -1 for Betis is all right, 140, but the over 3 goals market is my favorite here. That pays 310, and I got still in my memory that 5-3 that Betis got against Sevilla away at Sanchez Pizjuan. And basically on the basis of that, it didn't happen long ago, 2 years ago only, I'm going to back the over 3 goals market here. I love it, 3-10.
Okay, Betis Asian Handicap 0, for instance, 2.75 as well. I think these are not bad odds if you think that Betis can get something from the Sanchez Pizjuan. Then on Monday we have Barcelona Huesca. I'm challenging you, Alvaro, to find some good odds here. Very difficult. I just want to say that Huesca visited Camp Nou twice. They got 8-2 and 8-1. And we are talking about Barcelona getting very good results in La Liga against the last one. Huesca is keeping tight, at least in the results in the last games. Well, what do you think?
You leave it with me. Look, there are two games that I found very difficult to find good odds for. Eibar Villarreal being one of them, because I think at Villarreal they are little by little getting worse, and Barcelona Huesca. You are absolutely right. Look, I expect Barcelona to thrash Huesca, okay? So that's why I have to go to some exaggerate markets that I believe that for this fixture in particular, they could be quite realistic. For example, an Asian handicap of -2 for Huesca. I don't know if you will agree with me on this, Edu, but that doubles up your money, and it's not too crazy to think that Barcelona can win this game for a really high margin. So the Asian handicap -2 for Huesca, okay, that's interesting, 203. And there is another one that I like even better. Barcelona to win both halves. That pays 240, and it's probably the best value I can find in this game.
Okay, Barcelona to win both halves. This is not bad. Then the other one you said, Barcelona Asian handicap -2, 2.03. It means that Barcelona needs to win for 3 goals to get your bet correct. So you will get your money. If Barcelona only win for 2 goals, you get your money back. Okay, Alvaro, then you mentioned a lot of times that you could put some of these odds to the ACCA. Let's see your ACCA then.
I'm going to keep some of those that I mentioned before. Look, the first one is going to be the following. An Asian handicap of +2 for Elche. I will top it up with over 5.5 yellow cards in the Getafe Atletico de Madrid game. Both teams to score in Sevilla Betis. I love this one. And the Asian handicap of -2 for Barcelona. I put all that together and I get a value of 13.26.
Okay, then Alvaro, thank you. Let's see what we have this week, and next week still we have more La Liga games. See you, Alvaro.
See you, Eduardo. A pleasure as usually. Enjoy.
Not easy to find value in Real Madrid and Barcelona games in this match day, but Alvaro gave you some tips. Let me know what you think in the comment section, and you will have the chance to win a £10 free bet with Novibet. Also, if you enjoyed the video, click the like button, subscribe to our channel, and click on the bell to get all the notifications. Also, you can listen to all our videos in our podcast. Next week we have more La Liga. See you.